Good day, and welcome to Hip History Campus, where I try to teach to the hippocampus. I consolidate historical events, facts, and analysis so that you can consolidate your thoughts before acing the test. I'm your host, Caleb Brown, and today's episode is on Mesopotamia. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow this channel for more quality educational content. Ready? Let's travel back in time. Each episode of Hip History Campus will follow the same basic formula. First, we'll introduce our topic of discussion and state why we should study it. Second, we will introduce a primary source and analyze it. Third, we'll look deeper at a secondary source. Fourth, we'll have some sort of game, rhyme, rhythm, or song to help us remember exactly what we studied. And fifth, we'll have our final closure and review. Without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. Mesopotamia is a region in southwestern Asia, what we might otherwise know as the Middle East. It's home to the world's earliest civilization, and the name Mesopotamia comes from the Greek word meaning between rivers. The two major rivers in this area are the Tigris and the Euphrates. This land is also sometimes referred to as the Fertile Crescent. An abundance of natural resources is what has led to the region of Mesopotamia historically flourishing. The region is known for cultivating date palms, meat, grain, vegetables, and also plant fiber products. While Mesopotamia may seem like the land of milk and honey, there's also some downsides to living in the region. First, both the Tigris and the Euphrates were temperamental rivers that had a tendency to overflow their banks and flood the towns along them. Another point of interest is that ancient Mesopotamia lacked some serious resources. They were limited in their supply of wood, stone, and even metal. The most important resource to the ancient Mesopotamians was clay. They used clay to make pottery, intricate artwork, and even mud bricks to build structures like the Great Ziggurat of Ur. Many scholars assert that the most important contribution and development in ancient Mesopotamia is writing. They used a form of writing called cuneiform, which is a series of wedge-like strokes that are put into wet clay. Other than the ancient ziggurats, cuneiform is one of the few ways in which we can still connect with the ancient Mesopotamians and Sumerians. Cuneiform was the language that was used to write the world's first book, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Our primary source for today is the Epic of Gilgamesh, and I want to take a second to read you the second quote. "Hear me, great ones of Uruk, I weep for Enkidu, my friend. Bitterly moaning like a woman mourning, I weep for my brother. O Enkidu, my brother, you were the axe at my side, my hand's strength, the sword of my belt, the shield before me, a glorious robe, my fairest ornament, an evil fate has robbed me." I chose the Epic of Gilgamesh as today's primary source for two reasons. One, its historical value. It was written around 1300 to 1000 BC. Secondly, it has everything that would interest you. It just kind of reads like a blockbuster movie would. It's got action, adventure, tragedy, friendship, the quest for immortality, and eventually realizing that the quest for immortality is futile. The major points you should take away from the Epic of Gilgamesh is that it provides insight into the Mesopotamian values of friendship, kingship, relationships, immortality, urban versus rural life, and most importantly, culture. The secondary source for today is the Sumerians, their history, culture, and character, written by Samuel Noah Kramer. Now, Samuel Noah Kramer was the professor emeritus at the University of Pennsylvania. He's known as an expert Assyriologist and an expert on Sumer as well. He wrote this book back in 1963, so it is a little bit dated, but here's a great passage from it. Sumerian architects also made use of the dome, the vault, and the arch, and it is not improbable that the arch first came to Greece and then Rome from contact with Babylonia, which had inherited it from Sumer. more. So as you can see, this book's about 15 bucks and he's got a lot of good ideas. Make sure to check it out. Another resource is the Oriental Institute from the University of Chicago. You can find many recorded lectures there, including one from Samuel Noah Kramer. What makes this website interesting, and especially their YouTube channel, is that they provide you in-depth videos into everything about Middle Eastern ancient societies. Make sure to check it out. For our memory aid today, we have Sumer spelled out. S stands for Southern Mesopotamia. U stands for unique writing, cuneiform, which we discussed earlier. M stands for morals that we saw in the Epic of Gilgamesh. E stands for economy based in agriculture. R stands for religion. Don't forget those ziggurats and their religious purposes. Now for our final closure and review. If you can remember these three things, you can ace the test. First, remember that the Mesopotamians settled in the Middle East between the Tigris and the Euphrates. Also remember that there were ziggurats, and these were stepped pyramid-like structures that were used for religious ceremonies. Lastly, remember that there was a form of ancient writing called cuneiform, and this was wedge-shaped writing that was pressed into clay tablets.